Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we explore the amazing world of wheat penny and 50 state quarter dollar rare and valuable coins hiding right in your pocket change. If you're a coin lover, a history fan, or just curious about how a small piece of metal can be worth thousands of dollars, then you're in the perfect place. First up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark is another fascinating piece from the mid-20th century, a coin that continues to attract collectors for its design, history, and connection to an important chapter in American life. This penny, struck at the Denver Mint, represents a time when the United States was entering a period of post-war growth and optimism. Even though millions of these coins were made, every example tells its own small story, especially when it has survived more than 70 years in circulation. Your coin, minted in 1952 with the D mint mark just below the date, is made primarily of copper with a small mix of tin and zinc. This was the traditional bronze composition used for Lincoln cents before the switch to a different alloy in later years. The coin shows a black color shade, which often develops from natural oxidation or environmental exposure over decades. While some collectors prefer bright red or brown surfaces, others appreciate these dark-toned pieces for the deep, rich patina that gives them a sense of age and authenticity. The obverse side of this coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This image had already become a national symbol by 1952, a strong and dignified reminder of Lincoln's legacy and leadership. Around the portrait appear the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1952, accompanied by the small letter D representing the Denver Mint. The reverse side displays the classic wheat ears design, framing the denomination 1 cent, and the legend United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. By 1952, the Denver Mint was producing the majority of Lincoln wheat pennies. In fact, over 746 million of these coins were struck that year with the D mint mark, making them fairly common in circulation. However, condition and eye appeal still determine their collectible value. Your coin in fine condition means it has moderate wear but retains clear details. The major features of Lincoln's face are still visible, though some smoothing can be seen on the cheek and jawline. The wheat stalks on the reverse are worn but remain defined. And even with some scratches and the dark coloration, the coin has preserved its overall charm. In today's coin market, a 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition is typically valued between 10 and 20 cents. If the coin shows strong detail and even color, it might reach 30 cents in private sales or small auctions. Coins in extremely fine or about uncirculated grades can bring 50 cents to $1, while fully uncirculated red examples certified by grading services like PCGS or NGC can command $10 to $25 or more, depending on color and strike quality. The most pristine mint state red specimens, especially those graded MS66 or higher, have occasionally sold for over $100 at top-tier auctions. Even though your coin's value is modest because of its circulated state and black tone, it remains a collectible and meaningful piece of mid-century history. These coins often hold more sentimental and historical value than monetary worth. Many people who collect Lincoln wheat pennies appreciate them for their enduring design, the memories they evoke, and the connection they offer to the past. The year 1952 was an interesting time in America. The country was in the midst of economic expansion after World War II, families were growing, industries were booming, and coins like this one were part of everyday transactions. A penny could still buy small things: a piece of candy, a postcard stamp, or part of a newspaper. Each one passed through countless hands, representing hard work, savings, and daily life during that period. Collectors often find the dark-toned or black-shaded wheat pennies visually striking, even if they aren't worth much more than their red or brown counterparts. The deep coloration gives the coin an antique look, making it a beautiful addition to any wheat penny collection. Some collectors choose to conserve such coins carefully, while others leave them untouched to preserve their natural aging. The 1952 D Wheat Penny also marks one of the last years of the classic wheat reverse design, which would soon be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This makes every wheat penny from the 1950s an important part of U.S. numismatic history, bridging the gap between two eras of American coinage. While scratches and wear may lower its market value slightly, they also tell the story of a coin that has lived a full life. Your penny likely circulated across shops, schools, and diners, serving as part of everyday life in mid-century America. Now, as part of a collection, it stands as a reminder of how even the smallest coins can carry decades of history and meaning. So, although the 1952 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is not a rare treasure in the world of coin collecting, it remains a cherished piece of American heritage. Whether it's worth a few cents or a few dollars, its value as a piece of history is immeasurable. It reminds us of how long these coins have lasted, surviving through generations and changes in the world. The 1911 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is a truly fascinating and historic piece of American coinage. Struck more than a century ago, this coin takes us back to the early years of the Lincoln Cent series and remains one of the most collectible coins among wheat penny enthusiasts. Even though this particular coin is in dirty condition with some scratches and visible wear, it still carries strong historical value and collector interest due to its age and origin. The 1911 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which, as was tradition at that time, did not include a mint mark. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and became the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real historical figure. Above Lincoln's head, the words "In God We Trust" appear clearly, with "Liberty" to the left and the date 1911 to the right. Even though your coin shows dirt, wear, and a few scratches, Lincoln's profile is still visible, showing the enduring quality of Brenner's design. When we turn the coin over, we see the classic wheat ears reverse, which gives the coin its popular nickname, the Wheat Penny. Two wheat stalks curve elegantly along each side of the reverse, framing the large, bold lettering that reads 1 cent and United States of America. Above the design is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. This design symbolizes both prosperity and unity, reflecting America's values during the early 20th century. Despite dirt and scratches, the wheat stalks and lettering can still be seen on your coin, a testament to the durability of its design. The 1911 Wheat Penny was produced in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, where your coin was made, struck about 101 million pieces that year. This was a fairly large number for the time, which makes the 1911 without mint mark more common than its counterparts from Denver and San Francisco, both of which had much lower mintages. However, after more than 110 years, finding one in collectible condition is still an exciting discovery for any coin enthusiast. Your coin is in dirty condition, with some visible scratches and surface wear, meaning it spent many years in circulation before being set aside. Collectors often clean such coins gently, though professional collectors recommend leaving old coins in their natural state to preserve authenticity. The dirt and tone often add a unique look and historical charm, showing that this penny has truly lived through a century of American history. In terms of value, a 1911 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark, in dirty and well-worn condition, typically sells for around 20 to 35 cents in today's collector market. In better grades like fine or very fine condition, it can be worth between 50 cents and $1. Coins in extra fine condition are valued around $2 to $3. And in uncirculated or mint state, they can reach prices between $10 and $25, depending on their color and surface quality. The brightest red uncirculated examples, certified by professional grading services, have even sold for more than $50 at auction. While your coin's value may be modest due to condition, its true worth lies in its historical significance. This penny was minted just 2 years after the Lincoln Cent series began and more than half a century before the wheat design was retired. It has survived 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and countless moments in history, still bearing the same image of Abraham Lincoln that Americans recognize today. Collectors of Lincoln Cents often cherish the early dates, like 1911, as they represent the beginning of one of the most beloved coin series in the United States. Each coin from that period connects us to a time when pennies could still buy something small but meaningful, and when every coin carried real copper value. The 1911 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich brown tone that naturally darkens with age, something clearly seen in your coin's dirty surface and deep color. Even though your 1911 penny shows signs of wear and scratches, it remains a piece of American history that tells a story of endurance. Many collectors today start their collections with these early Lincoln Cents because they combine beauty, history, and affordability. Having a century-old coin like this in your hands is like holding a small piece of the past, a reminder of how far the U.S. has come, both in design and history. In the modern collector market, early wheat pennies like the 1911 are always in demand. While heavily worn coins are valued mostly for history and sentiment, well-preserved or rare mint-mark versions can command much higher prices. Still, every 1911 penny, even in dirty or circulated condition, deserves appreciation for surviving more than 100 years of change. Next up, the 1929 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is another beautiful reminder of early American coinage, a coin that holds both historical and collectible significance. Though nearly a century old, it continues to attract collectors who admire its design, age, and connection to the late 1920s, a time of great change in the United States. Your coin, struck in 1929, carries no mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. It's a piece that has quietly survived decades of circulation and still retains much of its original beauty, even with a few small scratches from its long journey through history. The year 1929 stands out in American history as the year of the great stock market crash, marking the beginning of the Great Depression. Millions of people faced economic hardship, and coins like this one were part of everyday life during that uncertain time. Every penny had value then. It could buy a loaf of bread, a stamp, or even a small handful of candy. Holding a 1929 wheat penny is like holding a piece of that story, a tiny witness to a major turning point in the nation's past. This coin features the timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, and quickly became one of the most recognized designs in coin history. The inscriptions, "In God, We Trust Liberty," and the date 1929 appear around Lincoln's profile. The reverse displays 2 stylized wheat ears along the sides, framing the words "1 cent" and "United States of America," with the motto "E pluribus unum" along the top edge. This classic wheat design symbolizes growth, hard work, and prosperity, ideals that Americans held on to during the tough years that followed. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 185 million Lincoln wheat pennies in 1929, making them fairly common at the time. However, after nearly 100 years, finding a 1929 penny in very fine condition, like yours, is becoming less common. In this grade, the coin shows light to moderate wear. The finer details of Lincoln's hair and beard remain visible, the lettering is sharp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse still show most of their lines, though with some slight flattening. A few scratches and marks are normal for a coin of this age, but overall, it still maintains strong eye appeal. The color tone of older wheat pennies can range from light brown to dark chocolate shades, depending on how they were stored over the decades. A coin in very fine condition usually has a pleasant, even color with natural signs of age. While cleaning or polishing might make it appear shinier, collectors generally prefer the original tone, as it preserves the coin's authenticity and value. In today's coin market, a 1929 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically sells for around 50 cents to $1. If the coin has exceptional detail, a smooth surface, and strong color, the price can reach up to $2. Higher-grade examples in extremely fine or about uncirculated condition can bring $3 to $5, while fully uncirculated red examples certified by grading services can be worth $20 to $50, and sometimes more for top-graded pieces. Even though your coin has a few scratches, it still holds collectible value as part of a nearly century-old series. The true value of a coin like this goes beyond its price in dollars. It represents a moment in history, a coin that circulated during the late 1920s, a time when America was filled with innovation, ambition, and later, economic challenge. People who carried this coin lived through monumental events that shaped the country, and that gives it a human story that collectors find fascinating. Even though millions of 1929 wheat pennies were minted, far fewer survive today in collectible condition. Many were lost, damaged, or melted down over time. That's why coins like yours, well-preserved and still showing strong detail, remain desirable for Lincoln cent enthusiasts who are trying to complete their early 20th century sets. The 1929 penny also stands out as one of the last issues before major changes swept through the nation in the 1930s. It bridges the gap between the roaring prosperity of the 1920s and the hardships of the Great Depression, making it more than just a small piece of metal. It's a reflection of a nation's journey through hope, struggle, and endurance. For collectors, every Lincoln Wheat Penny tells a slightly different story. Some have mint marks, some are bright red, some are dark brown or black, and each one carries marks of time that make it unique. Your 1929 Wheat Penny, even with its few scratches and signs of wear, is a piece of that legacy. A coin that has survived almost 100 years. A coin that may have passed through countless hands and places, yet still preserves the image of Lincoln, the symbol of honesty and perseverance. So while its market value today may only be around $1, its historical and sentimental value is far greater. It's a perfect reminder that not all treasures are measured by their price tag. Some are measured by the stories they carry and the time they've endured. Next up, the 1946 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark is a classic piece of American coinage that continues to fascinate collectors and history lovers alike. Struck more than 70 years ago at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin represents a post-war era of optimism and rebuilding in the United States. Even though your coin is in fine condition with some scratches and signs of circulation, it still holds both historical and collectible value in today's market. Turning to the reverse side, we find the familiar wheat ears design that gives the Lincoln Wheat Penny its name. Two stylized stalks of wheat curve gracefully along each side, framing the large central inscription, 1 cent and United States of America. At the top, the Latin phrase a pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, is clearly seen. Your coin shows mild wear across the wheat stalks and lettering, but the major details are still bold and attractive, which is typical of a fine condition coin that has seen years of honest use in circulation. The 1946 Lincoln Penny was part of the first full year of production after World War II ended. During the war years from 1942 to 1945, the U.S. Mint made changes to the coin's metal composition due to copper shortages. In 1943, for example, pennies were made from zinc-coated steel instead of copper. But by 1946, the mint returned to the familiar bronze composition, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives the coin its warm reddish-brown tone. Your coin's color may have darkened slightly over time due to natural oxidation, and its few scratches simply show its age and long journey through circulation. In 1946, the Philadelphia Mint produced an enormous 991 million wheat pennies, nearly 1 billion coins, making it one of the most common dates of the wheat cent series. Even though the mintage was high, finding coins in good collectible condition today still brings joy to hobbyists, especially when they retain strong detail and a pleasant natural color. Many 1946 pennies were melted, worn down, or lost over the decades. So examples in fine or better condition remain attractive to collectors who enjoy affordable pieces of history. Now, let's talk about value. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark is not considered rare, but its worth depends heavily on condition and appearance. In good condition, these coins usually sell for around 5 to 10 cents. In fine condition, like your coin, the value rises to around 10 to 15 cents, depending on eye appeal and the extent of wear. In very fine and extra fine grades, values can reach 20 to 30 cents. Coins in uncirculated condition, especially those with original red color and full luster, can be worth $100 to $300 or more. Exceptionally preserved examples graded by professional services can fetch even higher prices among collectors seeking top-quality pieces. Although this coin may not carry high monetary value, its historical significance is remarkable. The 1946 penny represents the first step back into peacetime production after World War II, a time when the United States was emerging as a global power, and the economy was shifting from wartime to domestic growth. Millions of Americans carried these coins in their pockets during those hopeful years, buying everyday goods, paying for public transportation, or saving them in small jars for the future. Every scratch and worn surface on your coin tells part of that story, a quiet testimony to the hands it passed through and the times it witnessed. Collectors value the 1946 wheat penny not only for its copper content and vintage charm, but also because it marks a historical transition period in American coinage. It's a great coin for beginners to start with since it's affordable, easy to find, and visually appealing. For more advanced collectors, it serves as a reminder of how even common coins can carry deep meaning and represent important chapters in U.S. history. Your coin, with its fine detail, natural brown tone, and light scratches, stands as a genuine survivor of its time. While its market value today is around 10 to 15 cents, the true worth lies in its connection to history and the story it continues to tell. From the moment it was minted in 1946 to the present day, this simple copper penny has journeyed through decades of change, and now rests as a proud collectible for anyone who appreciates America's enduring heritage. Next up, the 1955 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark is another remarkable piece of mid-century American coinage, a small copper coin that still carries the spirit of its time. Your coin, struck at the Denver Mint, comes from a period when the United States was full of confidence and growth after the hardships of World War II. Even though millions of these coins were produced, each one that survives in extra fine condition, like yours, offers a beautiful glimpse into the craftsmanship and history of that era. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar and enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The design was originally created to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, and it became so beloved that it remains on U.S. 1-cent coins to this very day. On this 1955 D penny, Lincoln's profile is strong and detailed, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1955 with the small letter D just below it on the right. signifying that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. The reverse side displays the traditional wheat ears design, which had been used since 1909. Two stalks of wheat frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum arching across the top. This simple yet elegant design symbolizes prosperity and growth, values that resonated deeply with the American people during the post-war years. By 1955, the Denver Mint produced more than 563 million wheat pennies, which makes the 1955D issue relatively common. However, collectors often seek out coins that have survived in excellent condition, especially those that retain original detail and color. Your coin is in extra fine condition, which means that it shows only light wear on the highest points, with most of the design still sharp and attractive. The details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and clothing remain visible, and the lettering and wheat stalks on the reverse side are crisp and clear. Even though there are some small scratches, the coin still presents strong eye appeal and represents how well these pennies were made. In today's coin market, a 1955D Lincoln wheat penny in extra fine condition generally has a value of around 20 to 40 cents. If the coin has an especially clean surface, strong luster, and rich color, it can bring up to 50 cents to $1. Coins in higher grades, such as about uncirculated or uncirculated red-brown examples, can sell for $2 to $5, while fully red, mint state specimens graded by PCGS or NGC can be worth $10 to $25 or even more, depending on their quality. The rarest, brightest, and highest graded red coins, with sharp strikes and perfect surfaces, have reached prices of over $100 at top-level auctions. While your coin's market value might be modest due to light scratches and circulation marks, it remains an important collectible. Every Lincoln wheat penny tells a story, not just about the year it was struck, but also about the time in which it circulated. In 1955, the United States was a nation of growth, industry, and optimism. Families were settling into suburban life. The automobile was king, and coins like this penny were part of daily commerce, passing from hand to hand in shops, diners, schools, and gas stations. Collectors appreciate the 1955D penny not only for its condition but also for its connection to one of the most famous coins in U.S. history, the 1955 doubled die obverse variety. That rare error coin, found on Philadelphia issues, became one of the most famous minting mistakes ever made. Because of that, many people mistakenly think every 1955 penny might be valuable, but the Denver minted examples, like yours, are more common. Still, they remain a key piece for anyone. Completing a full Lincoln wheat penny collection from 1909 through 1958, the beauty of your 1955D penny lies in its survival and preservation. Over 70 years have passed since it was minted, yet it continues to show strong design features and rich historical character. Even with minor scratches, its extra fine grade makes it an attractive coin to display or keep as part of a larger collection. For collectors who focus on mid-century U.S. coins, this piece offers a perfect combination of affordability, condition, and age. The Wheat Penny series as a whole is one of the most beloved coin designs in American history. From the early 1909 VDB issue to the final 1958 edition, these coins capture nearly half a century of American life. From the early industrial age, through 2 world wars and into the modern era. Your 1955D penny sits near the end of that story. Only a few years before the design changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Even though this coin might only be worth a few cents to a few dollars on the market, its true worth lies in its history and the legacy it represents. It's a coin that has outlasted the time it was made, a coin that connects the modern world to a simpler time when every penny mattered. So, while it may not be a rare treasure, the 1955D Lincoln Wheat Penny remains a cherished piece of American heritage, one that still carries the proud image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of honesty, leadership, and perseverance. Next up, the 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark is a fascinating and collectible coin that carries with it a long journey through American history. Struck more than 80 years ago at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin represents the late years of the Wheat Penny design, which had already become one of the most familiar and beloved coin series in the United States. Even though your coin is in very fine condition with a few scratches and signs of age, it remains a valuable and beautiful reminder of America's past. Turning to the reverse, we see the iconic wheat ears design, which gives the coin its popular name, the Wheat Penny. The reverse design shows two curved stalks of wheat, framing the large words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one, even with some light wear and scratches. The reverse design of your coin still shows good detail in the wheat lines and lettering, making it an attractive collectible piece. The 1939 Wheat Penny was struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the largest number, around 316 million coins, making this version the most common among the 1939 issues. However, even with such a large montage, most of these coins have long since disappeared from circulation. Many were lost, damaged, or melted for their copper content over the years, which makes well-preserved examples more desirable today. Your coin's very fine condition means it circulated for a time, but was cared for enough to retain strong details on both sides. It shows honest wear from use, but not the heavy smoothing or flattening seen on lower-grade coins. The light scratches and dirt are natural for a coin that has survived so many decades of handling and storage. In this condition, it remains an excellent example for collectors who appreciate coins that balance age, affordability, and history. Now let's talk about the value of the 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark in today's coin market. A circulated example in good condition is generally worth around 5 to 10 cents, while coins in fine condition typically range between 10 and 15 cents. Your coin, being in very fine condition, can be worth around 20 to 30 cents, depending on eye appeal and color. Extra fine examples might sell for 40 to 50 cents, while uncirculated coins, those that have never been used, can bring anywhere from $1 to $3. In top mint state grades with brilliant red luster, values can reach $10 or more, and certified high-grade pieces have sold for even higher prices in the collector market. While these numbers may not seem high, the historical and sentimental value of a 1939 penny goes far beyond its price. This coin was minted just before the outbreak of World War II, during a time when America was recovering from the Great Depression and moving toward a new era of global change. Every 1939 penny that survives today serves as a small piece of that story, a relic of a time when the world was on the edge of transformation. Tuttitum, coin's composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc gives it a warm brown or reddish tone, which has deepened naturally over time. Collectors often prefer coins with original toning like this, as it shows the coin's authenticity and age. The few scratches on your coin don't take away from its beauty. Instead, they highlight its long life and circulation history. Each mark could represent a moment in time. Perhaps a penny passed through the hands of workers, families, or children in the late 1930s and 1940s. For collectors, the 1939 Wheat Penny is a wonderful piece to include in a Lincoln cent set, especially one focused on pre-war years. It is affordable, available in various grades, and easy to appreciate. It also bridges 2 important eras of U.S. history, the Great Depression years and the wartime 1940s, making it a symbol of strength, recovery, and continuity. Your coin in very fine condition, remains a desirable example for beginning and intermediate collectors alike. It might not hold high monetary value, but it carries deep historical worth, connecting the present to the past through the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln. Coins like these remind us that money was once made to last, not just in material, but in meaning. In today's market, your 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny without mint mark, in very fine condition and with some light scratches, is estimated to be worth around 20 to 30 cents. While not rare, it's still a cherished collectible that tells a timeless story. Next up, the 1923 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is one of the classic early 20th century coins that continues to fascinate collectors and history lovers alike. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin represents an era when America was recovering from World War I and stepping into a decade of great cultural and economic change. Though it's nearly a century old, your coin, in very fine condition, still holds both historical charm and collectible value. The 1920s were a defining decade in the United States. Known as the Roaring Twenties, it was a time of jazz music, new inventions, and social transformation. Yet, everyday people still carried these humble copper pennies in their pockets, using them for small purchases, savings jars, and children's allowances. The 1923 Wheat Penny was part of that daily life, and even with some scratches and wear, your coin has survived all those years as a living witness to that vibrant period in American history. In 1923, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 74 million Lincoln Wheat Pennies. Although that might sound like a lot, relatively few have survived in collectible condition today, especially after almost 100 years of circulation, handling, and time. Many were worn down, lost, or melted over the decades. That's why a coin like yours, in very fine condition, still captures the interest of collectors. In very fine condition, the 1923 Lincoln Wheat Penny shows moderate but even wear. Lincoln's cheek and jawline are slightly worn, but the details of his hair and clothing remain visible. The wheat stalks on the reverse side still have most of their lines intact, and the lettering is clear and bold. Even with some scratches and light marks from circulation, your coin still presents a nice overall appearance and solid definition, which is what collectors look for in coins of this age. In today's coin market, the 1923 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically sells for around $1 to $2. Coins that are a bit cleaner or have strong detail and color might bring up to $3 or $4. In higher grades, like extremely fine or about uncirculated, prices rise to around $5 to $10, and fully uncirculated red examples certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC can sell for $25 to $50, sometimes more depending on their color and surface quality. The value of your coin, while modest in terms of dollars, lies deeply in its historical significance. Imagine the countless hands it may have passed through. Shopkeepers, farmers, students, or travelers during the 1920s. It's a small artifact of a time when a penny truly had buying power. Back then, a few cents could buy a loaf of bread, a cup of coffee, or even a ride on a streetcar. This penny circulated through a world that was very different from today's, making it a tangible link to America's past. Collectors often cherish coins like the 1923 penny because they represent stability and endurance. Despite wars, recessions, and cultural changes, these little copper coins have survived, telling the story of America's resilience. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, remains one of the most beloved and collected series in U.S. coinage. Each coin is like a page from history, and the 1923 issue is no exception. While your coin may have a few scratches and signs of age, those marks are part of its journey. Many collectors prefer coins with honest wear because they show how the coin lived and circulated naturally. Cleaning or polishing might make a coin shine temporarily, but it can lower its value, so keeping it in its natural state is always best. The 1923 Lincoln Wheat Penny also marks a time when the Philadelphia Mint was the only U.S. facility striking this denomination, as no pennies were made in Denver or San Francisco that year. That makes the 1923 issue special, as it represents a single unified minting effort for that period. Even though its market price might be around $1 or $2, its true worth goes beyond numbers. It's a piece of art, a piece of history, and a piece of America's past that you can hold in your hand. Every time you look at your 1923 penny, you're looking at something that has survived nearly a century of change. A coin that still proudly bears the face of Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest leaders in American history. So, while it may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in your collection, the 1923 Lincoln Wheat Penny remains a treasure for what it represents. A small but powerful symbol of endurance, craftsmanship, and history. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S mint mark is one of the most interesting and well-loved coins in American history. Struck during the final years of World War II, this small copper coin carries a story that connects everyday life on the home front to the global events that shaped the 1940s. Even though your coin is in fine condition with some scratches and light wear, it remains a piece of history that collectors continue to treasure. Turning the coin to the reverse side, we see the classic wheat ears design, which gives this coin its popular name, the Wheat Penny. The reverse design features two curved wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above the design is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. The wheat ears symbolize growth and prosperity, themes that resonated deeply with Americans during the war years. Though your coin shows some wear and light scratches, the wheat lines and central lettering remain strong and readable, an indication of the coin's careful preservation over time. CT 1944 S. Lincoln Wheat Penny has a unique place in U.S. coinage history. During the war in 1943, the mint made pennies from zinc-coated steel instead of copper, to save copper for military ammunition. But by 1944, the war effort had shifted, and the mint returned to using copper, this time recycled from spent shell casings collected from military training grounds. That's why many collectors call 1944 pennies shell case cents. These coins literally contain the metal from the war, making each one a symbolic reminder of America's resilience and resourcefulness during that time. The San Francisco Mint struck around 282 million wheat pennies in 1944. Although that's a large number, the S mint mark makes this version slightly scarcer than the Philadelphia issue, which had over 1 billion coins. As a result, collectors often include the 1944 S penny when building complete Lincoln cent sets by year and mint. Now let's talk about the value of this coin in today's market. Because your coin is in fine condition with some scratches, it holds a modest but steady collector value. In general, a 1944 S wheat penny in good to fine condition is worth between 10 and 20 cents. Coins in very fine condition can bring around 30 to 40 cents, while extra fine examples may reach 50 cents to $1. Uncirculated or mint state coins with original red luster can be valued anywhere from $3 to $10, depending on the quality of the strike and the shine of the copper surface. For comparison, high-grade examples that have been professionally graded and certified, especially those with a full red color and no marks, have sold for much higher prices. In top mint state grades like MS-67, the 1944 S wheat penny can reach $150 or more at auction. These rare, flawless coins are prized by advanced collectors who seek perfection in early Lincoln cents. Even though your coin shows wear and scratches, its historical and symbolic value remains strong. It represents a nation united in wartime, where even the smallest pieces of copper told a larger story of sacrifice and ingenuity. Holding this coin today, you are holding a real link to the 1940s, a time when America's economy, industry, and people came together for a common cause. For collectors, the 1944 S penny is an essential part of any Lincoln Wheat cent collection. It marks the first year after the experimental steel cents of 1943, and every example, even circulated ones, holds a sense of significance. The rich brown or reddish tone of the copper, the small S mint mark, and the classic design all combine to make this a memorable and collectible piece. Your coin's fine condition means it has seen moderate circulation, but still retains solid detail. The scratches simply tell the story of its journey, perhaps passed through the hands of American workers, soldiers' families, or children saving pennies during the war. These coins were used in a time of rationing and rebuilding, and that history gives each one meaning beyond its face value. In today's market, the 1944 S Lincoln Wheat penny, in fine condition with some scratches, typically trades for around 10 to 20 cents. While the value may not seem high, the coin's appeal lies in its history, design, and connection to a defining era in America's past. It remains an affordable and meaningful collectible for both beginner and seasoned numismatists alike. So, if you have a 1944 S Wheat penny in your collection, take a moment to appreciate its background. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of strength, history, and craftsmanship. The simple S mint mark tells you that it was made in San Francisco, a city that played a major role in wartime production and victory. Next up, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is another classic example of mid-century American coinage, a small copper coin that reflects both history and craftsmanship. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin comes from a time when the United States was entering a new era of growth and change after the Second World War. Although it's not considered a rare coin, every surviving piece in good condition tells a quiet story about the everyday life of that period. Your coin, in fine condition and showing a few light scratches, has managed to survive more than 70 years of circulation, keeping the memory of a different time alive. In 1950, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 272 million Lincoln Wheat pennies, making this issue fairly common. However, as with most older coins, condition plays a major role in determining value. Your coin, in fine condition, shows moderate wear but still retains strong details. Lincoln's face and hair are clearly visible, though there's light smoothing on his cheek and jawline. The wheat stalks on the reverse remain outlined, but some of the inner lines have faded from circulation. A few small scratches are visible from use, but overall, the coin maintains solid appeal and historical character. In today's market, a 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition is valued between 10 and 20 cents. In very fine or extremely fine condition, values can rise to 25 to 40 cents. If the coin is about uncirculated or shows traces of its original red color, it might be worth $1 to $2. Fully uncirculated red examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can sell for $10 to $25, and in top mint state grades, some have reached $50 or more at auction. While your coin's fine condition and light scratches keep its value modest, it remains a collectible piece from the early 1950s, a time when Lincoln Wheat pennies were still part of everyday American life. The 1950s marked an interesting chapter in U.S. history. The war was over, the economy was booming, and families were building new lives across the country. Pennies like this one passed through countless hands, children saving them in piggy banks, shopkeepers giving them in change, and workers using them for morning coffee or newspapers. Each penny was a small but essential part of daily life, and that gives these coins a sentimental value beyond their face value. Collectors often appreciate the 1950 penny as a solid mid-century issue, It's not rare, but it represents the later years of the classic wheat design before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. For many hobbyists, the 1950 issue is one of the coins that bridges the gap between the older, early 20th century wheat pennies and the more modern issues that followed. Your coin's natural color tone, whether a medium brown or slightly darker shade, adds to its character. Collectors usually prefer uncleaned coins, as cleaning can strip away the original patina and lower the coin's appeal. Even with small scratches, a coin that has aged naturally over decades holds more historical authenticity and is often seen as more desirable than one that has been polished. Though its value may not be high in terms of dollars, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny remains an important collectible for anyone building a complete set. It represents one of the last decades of the wheat-backed design, and it's a coin that still appears occasionally in pocket change, surprising people with a little piece of history. It's fascinating to think that your penny could have traveled through so many moments, perhaps used during the early years of television, the rise of rock and roll, or the dawn of the space age. Every mark, scratch, and worn edge adds to its story. That's what makes collecting coins like this so rewarding. You're not just holding metal. You're holding time, memory, and the story of the people who once used it. So while the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny may only be worth a few cents on the market, it holds much more in meaning and history. It's a humble reminder of an era when every penny counted, a coin that connects the present to the past with the familiar image of one of America's greatest leaders, Abraham Lincoln. Thank you for watching and learning about another piece of U.S. coin history. If you enjoy discovering the stories and values behind classic Lincoln Wheat Pennies, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your favorite coin finds in the comments. You never know. The next coin you find could hold a story worth more than its face value. Next up, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny with an S mint mark is a beautiful reminder of America's mid-20th century coinage and the lasting legacy of Abraham Lincoln's image on U.S. currency. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, this coin carries both historical and collectible value, especially when found in extra-fine condition like yours. Even with a few scratches and light signs of age, your 1950 S. Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as a proud example of the enduring design that defined an entire era of American small change. Because your coin is in extra-fine condition, much of Lincoln's hair detail, facial lines, and clothing folds remain crisp and distinct. The high points may show only light wear, which adds character without detracting from its overall sharpness. The surface may show some minor scratches from handling, but overall, it retains an appealing look with a natural copper-brown tone that collectors appreciate. Turning to the reverse side, we see the famous wheat ears design, which gives this series its popular name, the Wheat Penny. Two tall stalks of wheat curve along both sides of the coin, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above that is the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. On your coin, the details of the wheat lines remain clear and bold, showing that it circulated only lightly before being set aside. This condition reflects the care it received over time, making it an attractive collectible for any coin enthusiast. The 1950 S. Lincoln penny was struck during a time of economic growth and optimism in the United States. The San Francisco Mint produced just over 118 million of these coins, which is fewer than the massive Philadelphia Mint output of that year. While not rare, the 1950 S penny is considered one of the more interesting post-war wheat cents because of its strong strike quality and pleasing luster when found in higher grades. Collectors often favor coins from the San Francisco Mint because they tend to have slightly better craftsmanship and distinctive color tones. Compared to those from other mints, your coin's extra fine condition puts it in a desirable range for collectors who prefer coins with visible detail and original. character without the high cost of uncirculated pieces. Light circulation wear gives it a touch of history, while preserving its design beauty. The small scratches and minor discolorations are typical for a coin that has survived over 7 decades, adding authenticity and charm to its appearance. Now let's talk about value in today's coin market. The 1950s Lincoln Wheat Penny is a common but collectible coin. In good condition, it usually sells for around 5 to 10 cents. In fine condition, the value goes up slightly to about 10 to 15 cents. Coins in very fine condition can be worth 20 to 25 cents, while those in extra fine condition, like yours, typically range from 30 to 40 cents depending on color, surface appeal, and level of detail. In uncirculated condition, values rise more significantly, ranging from $1 to $3 for brown coins, $5 to $8 for red-brown examples, and up to $10 or more for bright red specimens with original mint luster. Certified high-grade coins have even sold for over $50 in professional auctions, showing how quality makes a major difference in collector pricing. While the 1950s penny may not be rare in numbers, its historical importance gives it a deeper appeal. It was minted at a time when America was entering a new decade of prosperity after the challenges of World War II. Siboy 2. These coins circulated in an era of change, the rise of television, suburban expansion, and the growth of the middle class. Each penny from this period carries a piece of that post-war American story, representing a time when even a single cent could buy something meaningful. The composition of this coin, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, gives it its signature reddish-brown tone. Over time, oxidation naturally darkens the color, and that rich patina is now part of its charm. Many collectors prefer the natural aged look of these wheat cents, especially when the details remain clear and the color has developed evenly. Your 1950s Lincoln Wheat Penny, in extra fine condition with some small scratches, is a great collectible coin that bridges affordability and history. It's not only a piece of numismatic art, but also a reminder of America's resilience and progress through the 20th century. Even though its market value today is around 30 to 40 cents, it remains a treasured find for anyone building a complete Lincoln cent collection or simply appreciating the craftsmanship of classic U.S. coinage. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy exploring the stories and values of vintage U.S. coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Every coin has a story, and your 1950s Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to tell a piece of America's history. 1 cent at a time.